I knew it was over the moment I heard her laugh. Not a gasp, not a scream, a laugh. Soft, sweet. Mine. Except it wasn't. It came from the room I once called ours. He does not love her. That, I believe, even now. But she made him question me, and that was enough. Let me begin where it started, where he chose me. I was 21, covered in flour and blackberry juice, when the Duke of Winthorne asked me for directions. He was in tailored navy, smelling of spice and parchment. I should have curtsied. I didn't. I pointed with a jam-stained hand. He should have been disgusted. But he smiled.
Is that blackberry or blood?
He returned the next day, then the next. He was meant to marry Lady Margaret of Eastwood. Instead, he asked for my hand. His father called it madness. His mother wept. His brother sent a letter that said, "She will ruin you." But he stood in the orchard, hands shaking, and said,
If I am to be ruined by love, let it be for the right woman.
So he married me, and for a time, we were a story people whispered about, but one we loved living. He built me a greenhouse. I named roses after us. We danced in the drawing room after supper. He kissed my wrist every night. I wrote him poems. He left me notes in the margins of his ledgers. They said I was common. They said I'd tire him. They were wrong. He chose me. And then Charlotte came. My father died that winter. Charlotte had no dowry, no marriage, no home. I begged Edmund to take her in. He said yes without hesitation.
She is your family. That makes her mine.
She arrived with a single trunk, a smile that never reached her eyes, and lavender perfume. Charlotte was lovely, always had been, but her beauty had thorns. She said she was grateful. She said she admired our love. She watched us too closely at supper. She watched him.
You're lucky. He watches you like you're a story he wants to read again and again.
She meant it sweetly, but something in her voice felt sharp. Summer crept in. The house felt different. Not louder, not colder, just less mine. Edmund still kissed my wrist, still held my hand. But he began leaving the table early. He stayed longer in the study. And Charlotte wore blue, the same shade I wore the day he first said he loved me. She asked him questions I once asked.
Is that your writing desk in the study? You sit there when you think, don't you? You still sleep with the window open, don't you?
She began dressing in my colours, wearing her hair like mine, and always watching.
You've not been sleeping well.
I suppose not.
Have I become tiresome?
Never.
I only wonder, do you still tell her everything you tell me?
He did not stop loving me, but she began to make him doubt. She only ever asked questions.
She used to walk with the baker's son, didn't she, before you met? She cries in the greenhouse sometimes when you're away. She thinks she's unhappy. I only mention it because I care for her.
They were whispers, barely more than breath, but they reached him. One night I found her at my writing desk, wearing my necklace.
It matches my dress, don't you think?
I laughed, because I didn't know what else to do. Edmund still looked at me, but something in his gaze had changed. Not love, that remained. It was the absence of certainty that destroyed me. She hadn't stolen him. Not yet. But I could feel her reaching, like ivy. She waited, smiled, said nothing, and slowly, very slowly, I stopped recognizing the way he said my name. Love does not vanish all at once. It fades, beneath your roof, beneath your breath, and one day you wake beside a man who still holds your hand, but looks like a stranger. There is a cruelty to subtleties. They do not stab, they seep. It began with glances. Cecily would look at him too long, or perhaps I imagined it, and he would look away, as if annoyed, but not always. Sometimes he smiled. Not the way he smiled at me, not with love, but with tolerance. At first I tried to explain it away. She's grieving, I told myself. She is grateful to him, to us. She just doesn't know how to belong here. But belonging was never her goal.
Shall I pour the tea, Edmund?
I can do it.
Nonsense. Sit, both of you. Oh, do you still take 2 sugars, Charlotte?
1.
Ah, you've changed.
She served him first. She smiled at him more. She took to calling him Your Grace, even in private, like she was still in awe of him, like I had forgotten to be. She touched the back of his chair when she walked past. Her hand lingered once. I saw him flinch. But he said nothing. Neither did I. She began stitching in the evenings, seated beside him, not across. She laughed louder than needed, wore softer colours than mine, and when we walked the garden, she made sure to stay close beside him.
You keep your hedges like father did, always square, always proper.
A habit from my grandfather, I'm afraid.
I glanced back at her, letting the words come out carefully. Cecily used to trim her doll's hair straight across. She hated anything wild. Cecily turned toward us with a coy smile.
Not everything.
I didn't smile back. I looked ahead at the gravel path, my voice lower now. No, just things she couldn't control. I began dreading the drawing room. I lingered longer in the greenhouse. I started carrying a book to breakfast so I wouldn't have to meet her eyes. And Edmund? He noticed.
You hardly speak anymore.
There's not much to say.
Is it Cecily?
Looking away. No. She's very comfortable here. He didn't defend her, but he didn't defend me either. One evening she returned from a walk before me. She'd gone to town for thread. When I arrived, he was sitting stiffly, eyes cold, fingers clenched.
Did you stop at the bookshop today?
Yes?
Alone?
Yes?
Lord Stone owns it, doesn't he?
What are you asking me?
She said you used to know him. Before me.
That's a lie. She was feeding him poison with a silver spoon, painting me with shadows I'd never stepped in, a past I never lived, a man I never touched, and he believed it. Not fully, but just enough to change the way you looked at me, to stop reaching for me when I passed, to say my name without softness.
I married you.
I know.
Because I loved you. I still do.
But you've let her convince you I'm someone I'm not. Cecily never argued with me. She never fought. She simply filled the air with questions.
Oh, I thought she'd met Lord Stone before. I must have remembered wrong. I only mentioned it because he speaks so highly of her. She's very admired, isn't she? He must worry sometimes.
She never said the words. She didn't need to. The space between me and Edmund stretched until it was no longer space. It was absence. He stopped watching me and began watching her. I didn't know how to scream in a way he'd hear, so I said nothing. And she smiled. The morning light crept into the room as if afraid to touch us. He hadn't slept. Neither had I. I sat by the window, my nightgown wrinkled, my fingers cold against the glass. I could hear the fireplace settling. The house felt too large, too hollow. He stood behind me, quiet, breath heavy, still carrying the scent of regret and brandy. And then
Why did you lie to me?
I turned slowly. His eyes were red. His voice trembled, not from anger, from something worse, from disappointment. What lie?
Cecily said you had been with men before me. That you were never pure when we met. That I was a fool.
And you believed her? He looked away, ashamed.
She said there were 3. One was Lord Stone. The others she named, in detail. And when I asked you, you said nothing.
I stood. My chest ached, but I kept my voice even. Because I didn't think I had to defend my own name in my own home. You looked at me like I was a stranger. I have never been with another man, Edmund. He blinked, slowly.
Never.
With pain. Only you. Your Grace. His knees buckled. He stepped toward me but stopped himself.
Then why did you stop loving me?
I didn't. You stopped seeing me. He reached for me, but I stepped back, not in anger, in fear. Not of him, but of how much I still wanted to forgive him. He dropped his hand. His eyes looked hollow, blurred with the weight of something he couldn't name.
I don't know what's real anymore.
Then I will give you silence. I left. No carriage, no coat. I walked through the fields into town, into nowhere. For hours I wandered between bookshelves, touching spines like wounds. The reading parlour was half empty. A widow hummed softly in the corner. I chose a small novel at random. I read half a page and remembered none of it. I wanted to forget everything. I wanted to feel nothing. But I still loved him, even as my heart ached, even as the words blurred and disappeared. When the light began to dim through the reading room windows, I returned. The door creaked as I entered the manor. The scent hit me first. Brandy and lavender and something else. A low murmur echoed from upstairs. I stepped slowly. The silence louder than a scream. The bedroom door was ajar. I saw her gown first, tossed over the armchair. Then her voice.
You said you wouldn't fall asleep.
I didn't mean to.
You drink too much when you're hurt.
And then my voice. Not loud, but clear. Get out of my bed. He jolted upright, sheets rustled, her hair fell over her shoulder like a curtain of flame. She didn't scramble, she smiled.
Charlotte.
I walked inside. My feet did not shake. Cover yourself, Cecily. He looked at me as if waking from a fever.
It's not what...
It is. Cecily sat up, sheets around her like a crown.
He came to me after you left. He was crying.
And you comforted him.
He said you were never his to begin with.
You liar. You lied to him. About me. About Lord Stone. About everything. She stood slowly, a smirk resting at the corner of her mouth.
Ever since we were little, you always had the best of everything. The dolls, the dresses, the men who looked but never touched. You married a duke without even trying. Why must you always have it all?
I turned to Edmund. He was still sitting, still stunned. You let her do this. His eyes finally met mine.
Charlotte.
I have nothing more to give you. And then I walked out. Down the stairs. Into the dark. It rained the morning Cecily was sent away. Not by me. By him. I didn't speak to her again after that night. I didn't need to. The door closed behind her like a chapter ending, and the house sighed with relief. Edmund tried to speak to me the next day, and the one after, but I kept to the solarium, the library, my own skin. I did not cry where he could see me. I wanted him to feel the silence the way I had. He wrote me letters, folded, unsent. I found them scattered across his study weeks later, unopened, unsent. Lines crossed out, pages torn, guilt bleeding through every sentence. I read none of them. Until one night, weeks later, I returned from the parlour and found him waiting in the foyer. Not in fine clothing, not with wine or poetry, in humility. He looked older, tired, and still impossibly beautiful to me.
I never touched her that night. I saw her in your bed.
That's enough.
I drank too much. I let grief make me gullible. I let her lies become mine. We were whole, until she came between us. I let her voice drown out yours.
His voice caught, whose hands trembled slightly at his sides.
I believed the worst because I was afraid it was true, that you could never really love someone like me, a man raised in a house that valued status over soul.
My voice broke, not in anger but in pain. You were the only man I ever chose.
And I chose you over everything, even myself.
He stepped closer.
You used to hold my hand in the garden, like it was the only thing you trusted. Do you remember?
I remember everything.
Is it too late to be that man again?
I didn't answer. I walked past him, through the drawing room, down the hall. He followed, wordless, aching. I led him to the west wing, into the quiet, unused sitting room where no one went but me. There, on the mantel, sat the little pressed flower he gave me the day we married. I had kept it, even through the silence, even through the lies. I turned. Do you still want the truth? He nodded. I have never wanted anyone's hands on me but yours. And I have never lied to you. A pause. Even when you deserved it. He dropped to his knees. No words, just tears. And for the first time in months, I let mine fall too. He reached for my hand, and this time, I didn't pull away. I let him press his forehead to my palm. Let him stay there. Let love stay there.